Hello, my name is Ben and this is Tom and we are the Thinking Drinkers. And we're here at the Warner Edwards Distillery to tell you about gin.
Gin is a neutral grain spirit that has been flavoured with botanicals, various herbs, roots, fruits and spices. But at the heart of gin is juniper, and gin must predominantly smell and taste of this fascinating botanical.
The juniper has been used as traditional medicine for millennia. During the 14th century in London, amateur doctors believed that it cured all manner of ailments, including the plague.
They placed burning juniper in long cone-like masks which they placed over their faces and made them look like ducks. And this is why today dodgy doctors are called quacks.
It's also the reason why the French phrase for I am ill is je suis malade.
There was method to their madness. The burning juniper did irritate the plague-carrying fleas. It was used as a diuretic and antiseptic, and has also been used to cure gout, arthritis, and itchy balls.
Other common botanicals include cardamom, licorice, angelica, and citrus peels. But new wave gin distillers are experimenting and innovating with all manner of esoteric ingredients, ranging from violets and rose petals to seaweed, cream, and shamrock.
Here at the Warner Edwards Distillery, they forage their own botanicals from their very own botanical garden. They also use their own honey, which they take from their own bees. Bees. I hate bees.
Don't worry, mate, it's fine. Bees are all right. They're much nicer than wasps, nowhere near as dangerous.
What's the most dangerous bee?
Hepatitis B.
Of all the styles of gin, the most common is London Dry. If it says that on the bottle, it means the gin has been distilled with the botanicals. No additional flavours or sweeteners have been added. Other styles of gin include Old Tom gin, Navy Strength gin, and increasingly aged gin. I like the expression of Herne, a Swedish gin from Sweden, which has been rested in juniper wood casks.
Now, it's never been a better time to be a gin drinker. We currently find ourselves in the grip of a gin renaissance. There are currently around 100 different gin brands on the UK market.
Sales of gin are soaring. In 2017, the Brits bought 47 million bottles of the stuff, the equivalent of a pint of gin for every adult in the country, but only if you cut off Devon and Cornwall and East Anglia.
Doesn't really work then, does it, that fact?
Not so much.
Oh. Anyway, let's buzz off.
Oh, behave. The last time a big gin craze gripped Britain was back in the 1720s, when every man, woman and child was drinking a pint of gin a week. The wheels were falling off British society like a clown car, and it was all the fault of the Dutch.
Now, the Dutch introduced gin to the British during the 30 Years' War, which lasted 30 years between 1618 and 1648. Fighting shoulder to shoulder against the Spanish, the Dutch and the British troops would share cups of Jenever to embolden themselves before battle. And this is where we get the term Dutch courage.
There we go. But it wasn't until 40 years later, when the Dutch king, William of Orange, took the British throne, that gin became seriously popular. Big Willie, clearly unaware of 18th century British attitudes to drinking, passed loads of laws allowing anyone to distill gin pretty much anywhere.
Now, hindsight has proved that this was a very, very silly thing to do. The government clamped down on rough production in the 1730s, and by the late 1760s, the likes of Alexander Gordon started making more discerning distillates, the forerunners of London Dry, which salvaged gin's reputation.
Gin went on to form the base of classic cocktails during the golden age of cocktails between 1860 and 1930. Massively popular in Victorian England, Charles Dickens loved gin and drank martinis in the Garrick. In fact, it was here he was inspired to write one of his novels. He ordered a martini and the bartender said, "Olive or twist?"
The most famous gin cocktail is, of course, the gin and tonic, which was introduced by the army of the British East India Company in India back in the early 18th century.
Beyond the G&T though, gin makes the quintessential martini, a classic cocktail that really helps the botanicals to come through. Garnish is very important when you're thinking about your gin. Try and associate it to the botanicals. So in the case of Tanqueray 10, which is made using whole grapefruits, garnish it with a grapefruit twist.
However you enjoy your gin, you should follow our message.
Our motto,
our mantra,
drink less,
but drink better. Cheers!